All right, let's just stop for a second and think about this. There's this one plant that for almost 100 years has been at the center of this massive global firestorm. People have gone to war over it. Lives have been ruined. But has anyone stopped to ask the simplest question of all? Seriously, what is the deal with cannabis? Why does it have any effect on us? I mean, out of all the millions of plants on this planet, why does this one in particular plug into our brains in such a crazy way? Is it just a fluke? Some random accident of nature? The answer is no. It is not an accident, not even close. The reason it works is because your body already has a secret system built right into it, just waiting. Cannabis isn't creating some new feeling out of thin air. It's just a key that happens to fit a lock that's already part of you. It's a biohack. And that right there is the big aha moment. This is where the story really begins. Welcome to Chapter 1, Your Secret Biohack. Because to get what's going on, we have to talk about this huge, super important system that's running inside you right now, and you've probably never even heard its name. It's called the Endocannabinoid System. Yeah, I know, big word. Let's just call it the ECS. Think of the ECS as your body's master manager. Its only job, its entire purpose, is to keep everything in balance, what scientists call homeostasis. It's like the ultimate conductor, making sure the whole orchestra of your body is playing in perfect harmony. And what's it in charge of? Oh, just everything that makes you, you. Your mood, how you handle stress, whether you sleep well, how you feel pain, your appetite. The ECS is working 24/7 behind the scenes to keep all of these things in that perfect sweet spot. Not too much, not too little, just right. So how does it do all this? Well, it's actually a pretty simple lock and key system. Your whole body, your brain, your organs, your immune cells, is covered in these tiny little locks. To send a message, your body makes its own little keys that fit perfectly into those locks. And here's the mind-blowing part. The most famous key your body makes is a molecule called anandamide. Its nickname? The bliss molecule. That's right, your body literally makes its own bliss. How wild is that? Okay, hold on. If our body is already making its own keys, its own bliss molecules, then where does cannabis come in? Well, that's the perfect lead-in to Chapter 2, the imposter keys. It's crazy, right? It turns out the cannabis plant evolved to make molecules that are so freakishly similar to our own that they can sneak in and fit into our natural locks. They're basically imposter keys. But here's the thing. Not all imposters are the same. Okay, so let's get into the two big players you've definitely heard of, THC and CBD. They are not the same thing. Think of THC as the hijacker key. It's the one that gets you high. It barges in, fits perfectly into the locks in your brain, and hijacks the whole system. That's what gives you the euphoria, the munchies, all of it. But then you've got CBD. Think of it as the helper key. It's totally non-psychoactive, so no high. It doesn't really hijack the locks. Instead, it works in the background, kind of like a mechanic giving your whole system a tune-up. It actually helps your own natural bliss molecules stick around longer and work better. Okay, let's recap. We have this built-in natural balancing system and a plant that makes keys that can talk to it. So why the heck is this plant illegal? This is where the story takes a dark turn. This is the big, wait, what? moment. Welcome to Chapter 3, the 50-year lie. Get ready for this, because this is the craziest part of the whole story. It wasn't always illegal. In fact, for 92 years, 92, cannabis was listed in the U.S. Pharmacopoeia. That's the official government list of medicines. You could get it from your doctor. It was normal. It was medicine. So what happened? The 1930s happened. This guy, Harry Anslinger, decided to launch this massive, totally fabricated propaganda war. I'm talking movies like Reefer Madness that were designed to make people terrified to link this plant to insanity and violence. But it was targeted. The propaganda specifically went after minority communities, jazz musicians, Mexican immigrants. Let's be clear, this had nothing to do with science. It was a political hit job, plain and simple, and it's what led to the plant being outlawed. And if you have any doubt about what this was really about, just read this quote from the guy in charge, Harry Anslinger. He reportedly said, "Reefer makes darkies think they're as good as white men." This was never about public safety. And all that propaganda led to this, making cannabis a Schedule I drug. And you have to understand how insane that is. To be Schedule 1, the government has to officially say a drug has no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. We're talking the exact same category as heroin. This one political decision, this one lie, is what slammed the door on any real science for the next 50 years. So for 50 years, that lie was the law. No medical use. Any scientist who wanted to study it was shut down. The whole field was frozen. But you can't bury the truth forever. It always finds a way out. And that brings us to Chapter 4, and the moment the lie finally broke. How did this 50-year lie finally shatter? It was because of one single word, one drug that the government just could not ignore: Epidiolex. This was the game changer. The FDA itself, the same government, had to approve a drug made from pure CBD from the cannabis plant. Why? Because it was proven to treat these two incredibly severe forms of epilepsy in children. And just like that, boom, the government was forced to admit its own central claim was false. There was medical use. The impact was like a dam breaking. Suddenly, all that research that had been blocked for decades is finally exploding for things like chronic pain, anxiety, MS, you name it. So, the science is back on. The lie is broken. We won, right? Wrong. The fight isn't over. Not by a long shot. It just went high-tech. It got a seriously dystopian upgrade. Welcome to Chapter 5, Reefer Madness 2.0. Yeah, forget about those old, cheesy propaganda posters and grainy black and white films. The new enemy. You can't even see it. It's hidden in lines of code. It's an algorithm. And all those old prejudices? They didn't go away. They just got automated. So how do you weaponize an algorithm? It's called predictive policing, and it is terrifying. Here's the loop. First, you feed the AI decades of old arrest data, but that data is already totally biased, right? Then the AI learns from that data and says, hey, these neighborhoods are crime hotspots. So what does it do? It tells the police to go patrol, you guessed it, those exact same neighborhoods. It creates this vicious cycle that looks like it's based on neutral data, but it's just the same old racism supercharged by AI. And if you think that's scary, hold on, it gets worse. We're moving from policing your neighborhood to policing your actual brain. Scientists can now use AI and brain scans to find the literal biomarker, the unique signature of a cannabis user inside your head. And think about that. This isn't about catching someone using something. It's about scanning your brain and deciding based on a prediction whether you get a job or not, or if your insurance rates go up. Which brings us to the end game, the final chapter. Because this has gotten way bigger than anyone could have imagined. This is no longer just a legal debate. This is the battle for your brain. Look, when you strip it all away, this was never, ever just about a plant. It's always been about one thing: control versus autonomy. On one side, you've got governments, corporations, and now algorithms, all trying to control things. And on the other side, you have your own autonomy, the right to your own body, your own consciousness, and your own natural balancing system that you were born with. The war on cannabis is changing. It's turning into a war on consciousness itself, a battle for who gets the final say over your own internal state. And that leaves us with one final, massive question. Who gets to control that secret system inside your brain? You or an algorithm?